Britain is an island nation. Would you believe no part of this wonderful piece of land is more than 72 miles from the sea? We simply love the coast and we love the sea. Been in it, been on it, been near it. But it's not all fun and games. Problems can occur, which is why we need an army of 4,500 heroes. Coast to coast, the volunteers range from gas fitters to teachers, doctors to chefs, all men and women of the RNLI. They're ready to launch 24/7 when the request comes in from the Coastguard to answer a Mayday call. In these programmes, the RNLI have invited us into their world. You'll get an exclusive view of exactly what the crews see close up. Now, there are around 235 lifeboat stations from beyond the northern tip of Scotland to the southernmost coast of England, and nearly half of them use helmet cameras like these. This little fella here will capture those incredible moments that will put you right in the middle of the action. Coming up, a fisherman heads for trouble as his day turns to disaster. Plymouth RNLI have just 5 minutes to save a sinking boat and its crew. Sinking! And in Dunbar, a young family find themselves marooned at the mercy of the highest tide of the year.
I was really scared and nervous that we would have to stay there for a long time.
Fishing is the lifeblood of many seaside towns, much like Torbay and Devon. Of course, it isn't all about big trawlers and big catches. Many holidaymakers are simply hooked on sea angling along the shoreline. But for one holidaying Yorkshireman, Keith Wilkinson, well, a day out fishing nearly cost him his life.
You're going to pop a needle into your arm, my friend, all right?
I've never been in a situation where I've needed the RNLI, but by Jove, I needed them then.
The cliffs near Torbay are popular with anglers who are all looking for the best spot to fish.
There were some rocks, so I stepped down there, and the next thing I remember, I was facing back towards the cliff, and the waves were picking me up and pushing me against the cliff. I was shouting help. The next thing I remember was somebody pulling at me.
After falling in and striking his head, Keith is pulled to the surface by a crew of mackerel fishermen whose boat is floating a few yards away from the rocks.
It was 2 men in a boat who were holding me up out of the water.
On land, one of the nearby anglers happens to be lifeboat man Sean Ingham.
The guys on the boat who were just out there recreationally fishing looked like they're in shock. I've got onto the boat and got guys to lash a rope round him, whilst I leant over and secured him more by holding his belt. We didn't have the facilities really to get him aboard. I knew the guys were coming round, so just securing him safely and keeping him up out the water.
The senior helmsman on call today is John Ashford, who in his day job is a paramedic.
Somebody's fallen off very hard, it could be major trauma.
We took the spinal board and basket stretcher along with the paramedic's first aid kit, so a little bit of a squeeze on the way across, but we managed.
Very head quarry, bleeding profusely from his head. Oscar 4 are on the way on the Coastguard.
If you visualise the worst, then you tend to be a little bit more prepared for it.
Should we get in the water?
No, somebody go aboard there, give us space in here, and get the stretcher off as well.
As the crew arrive, the first thing they can see is that the man's head injury is severe.
It looked horrific initially when this blood and a bit of the skull actually moving in the water.
Bring some Coastguard, bring some Coastguard. For information, we're on scene. Status follow. Over.
The gentleman was still conscious and obviously very distressed. And the only way to cure the whole thing is to get him out of the water.
Can you just tie that round for us?
Sinking.
We slid the stretcher down underneath the casualty, held both arms and literally slid him out of the water.
Let's just see if we can get him on the stretcher.
One slip and they could make his injuries much worse.
Right across the boat, guys, right across.
Okay.
We leant over the casualty to make sure that he was secure. Obviously, the last thing you want is him to go back into the water.
Put your legs nice and straight for me.
The plan is to get him to a nearby beach where they'll be better able to treat him.
Ambulance, breakwater. Request ambulance. Urgent.
I remember one of the crew saying, we were taking him straight to Plymouth. Trauma, he says he's taking his full scalp off.
The space in the boat is very restricted, and so the stretcher looks a little bit precarious.
Okay, mate. We're on our way. You'll be fine. Okay, no worries.
We put a standard field dressing straight onto the wound, but again, the boat is moving.
Right, Keith, very important, eh? You got a dressing, just hold it with your hand, mate. Just hold it with your
The best thing to do at that stage is to actually just hold it in place.
hand. Take a nice deep breath for me. Any pain in your chest at all?
We became aware of he had had a heart attack some 20 years beforehand, and his age was 72. It's far better in that situation to overreact than underreact. We decided to call in the air ambulance for a rapid evacuation.
The trauma unit was still over 40 miles away, and it was going to be another 15 minutes before the air ambulance arrived. John and his team had to get Keith to the safety of the beach as soon as possible and try to keep him stable.
1, 2, 3.
As we headed to the beach, pupils had pinpointed a little bit. But we were talking to him, trying to keep him focused, really.
You're in good hands.
The key thing is to keep Keith's head wound strapped up, but now they've used up all the bandages on board the inshore boat.
We heard that the big lifeboat was had been launched and was kind of stand by us to bring any more resources that we may need.
Yeah, which size now, large? Yeah, large would be great. Just going to lift that now.
So Darryl and I hopped off to the big boat where they gave us some more dressings.
1 large, 2 small.
Thanks
we
a
have,
lot.
right?
Cheers. It's quite nasty. Yeah. We've got more should we need them, which we did in about 5 minutes' time, I think. You got it.
Delivery package.
Large or small, John?
And again, just that's okay. Keep it like it.
Keep taking the oxygen. All right, mate?
I kept wanting to touch it, and they said, no, don't touch it.
Any pain down here at all? No.
The next thing I remember was the helicopter.
We had to sort of cover the casualty to make sure that they keep out of the way of anything flying from the rotors.
Hey, this is Adrian, the air ambulance paramedic. We're just taking you over to the beach, right? We're going to take you to the hospital.
As they don't know the full extent of his injuries, Keith needs to be strapped in as tight as possible.
Cuff yourself, Keith. All right, mate.
The next thing I remember was being transferred on the stretcher and the floor of the helicopter bouncing up and down, which I expected an helicopter to just rise smoothly.
At the hospital A&E, Keith was treated immediately, but no one knew if he was going to be okay. Incredibly, especially after you see those pictures and the fact that he was almost scalped, he had no long-term effects from the injury, just a really cool scar to show his buddies. When John returned 2 hours later, he hardly recognised him.
They had stabled his head, so he was actually quite proud of it. And sort of look at my head and think, oh, right.
Absolutely marvellous. Everything was done exactly as it should have been. It was absolutely brilliant.
Cuff yourself, Keith.
And they were comforting me as well, to be saying you're going to be all right, you know, and all this. It meant a lot.
Plymouth in Devon is best known for its association with Sir Francis Drake and his legendary game of bowls on the Hoe in 1588 when the Spanish Armada threatened. What's less known is that it was from Plymouth in 1572 that he set off on his first circumnavigation of the globe. Today, of course, you don't need such lofty ambitions. For many people, just owning a boat is a dream come true. In fact, there are now over 3 million leisure boats around the UK. But what happens when that dream becomes a nightmare? For David and Anne Brummett, and let's not forget their dog Amber, a day trip from Plymouth nearly cost them their £80,000 motor cruiser.
It was the first trip for the season. We'd got the boat fully serviced and all ready to go. And we got about a mile and a half out. Looked over the back of the boat. There's a bathing platform, which is normally about that much above the water. It was that much below the waterline. Opened the engine hatches to find that everything was pretty well underwater. Thought, yeah, we've got a big problem. But the first thing to do was to make the Mayday call.
The crew of Plymouth Inshore Boat had just finished towing in a yacht when David's Mayday call comes in.
Scott asked us to go and check out a small vessel out in the Sound. It was taking on water.
It's the people's safety that we're interested in, and it's get there as quick as you can.
On their way, the crew may only have minutes to save David and Anne's boat, the Pasha.
Once we come out of the marina, that's when we can really go hammering it.
I mean, they came at a tremendous rate.
David and Anne have been picked up by a couple on a passing motorboat, which is now moored nearby. With everyone fine, Adam and Lee have to check the abandoned boat as quickly as possible to try and stop it from sinking.
You don't know exactly what you're jumping into, but me and Adam jumped aboard, started to investigate where the water was coming in and see what we could do to stop it.
The water could be coming in rather rapidly, and if it does, and you get trapped, potentially you could go down with the vessel.
What they discover confirms their worst fears.
Lifted up some deck plates and determined that the water was definitely coming in at the stern.
Sinking! But when they try to use the bilge pump to pump out the engine, nothing happens.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Things are looking serious. An £80,000 motor cruiser could end up on the seabed.
It was very much a case of using what we had to hand, a little bit of improvising and trying to do what we could.
And so I was there with a bucket, bailing it out, myself and Lee, doing as best as we could.
I'll do it the old-fashioned way, Lee.
With only one bucket between them, can Adam bail fast enough to stop the Pasha sinking? An RNLI crew are battling to stop a motor cruiser sinking 2 miles out to sea off the Devon coast. With no pump on board, there's only one way to save her.
Actually, you do that. I think the bucket's better than that.
Adam was using the bucket very enthusiastically.
I'll do it the old-fashioned way, Lee. This is good fun.
Literally bailing, chucking over.
This is good exercise, this is.
Oh, she would have gone down. No question about that. Between 5 and 10 minutes, and the boat would have just gone.
Finally, a bigger pump arrives on Plymouth's larger 7-class lifeboat.
Don't lose it in the sea, will ya?
We got the water level down to a decent level where we could see and assess the situation. It was definitely coming in through the exhaust outlet. Colleague Lee wrapped it up with electrical tape because we didn't have a screwdriver handy, so that would stop the leak.
With the Pasha stabilised, Adam leaves Lee on board to go and find Anne and David.
If you want to step aboard, we'll take you on board our weather boat.
The plan is to take them ashore on the bigger lifeboat. But first on board is some unusual hand luggage. Amber.
Pick up the dog first.
Cheers for that, thank you very much.
They only met a few hours ago, and they part like long-lost friends.
It's just a lovely feeling to think that everybody just comes and helps each other out.
If you jump aboard this one, come on. There you go.
She was given a drink of water on the boat.
And biscuits.
Biscuits, and we were looked after as well, very well, and yeah, they were absolutely brilliant.
After all the hard work, it's time to cool down.
Do you fill your helmet up? Yeah.
And all that bailing out gives Lee an idea. Lifeboating can be a way of life, and I suppose because of their shared experiences, some crews are very tight-knit. Some have generations of experience to call upon. In Dunbar in Scotland, there's been a lifeboat for over 200 years, and for over a century, the Fairbairn family have had very strong connections. In 1905, coxswain Walter Fairbairn won an RNLI medal for bravery, and a more recent recipient is his great-grandson Gary, the current coxswain.
My grandfather served as the Coastguards. My father served a short time in the lifeboat as well, so it's always sort of been in our blood to keep it going, you know. I love it, absolutely love it. There's not a day goes by when the pager goes off, you know, the adrenaline kicks in, because again, you know, we don't know what we're going out for, and every day is a different challenge.
When the Donnelly family set out for a day at the seaside, they didn't think they'd need the help of Gary's team.
We were just popping through to Edinburgh for the day, and we thought we'd go and see our auntie. And it was a nice sunny day, so we went for a wee picnic.
We were just strolling along, and then there was a wee harbour, and the tide was far, so we could just walk across. A couple of hours later, we decided that we needed to go, so we turned around, and then we realised there wasn't exactly an exit.
While the children had been playing, the tide had turned and cut them off from the shore on what had become a tiny island.
Please check the tides when you come to the coast, because a lot of folk come and they didn't realise that the tide's so high.
It's the highest tide of the year and everyone is on the lookout. A local fisherman has reported seeing a family in distress on rocks, threatened by the rising sea.
The water was freezing, and as you went out a wee bit, it was getting deeper between some of the rocks. Looked as if there could be a bit of a current.
I took most of my mum's clothes because I was freezing. I was really scared and nervous that we would have to stay there for a long time.
But we hadn't realised it was the highest tide of the year. But I think the fishermen and folk on the beach realised that, so thankfully they phoned in for help.
You know, you could be doing anything and then the pager goes off, you drop everything. I was in the local restaurant just up the road there. I made my way in and was requested to get suited up and changed.
Going that way!
As I came out whilst the boat was already being launched, we were told that there was persons cut off by the tide, and just to make our way there.
Rushing to the scene, news comes through that the casualties who are trapped include children.
Anything with like kids and that, we treat it as urgency. The worst case scenario, obviously they might, if they started panicking, if they're stuck there for a while, possibly hypothermia. Last thing we want to be doing is with a load of kids wading through water.
But when the inshore boat arrives, there are too many people to fit on board. Some are going to have to be left behind for a return trip as the tide continues to rise.
What we're going to do, we're going to put life jackets on you as well.
They were cold, the kids were shivery, and I think, you know, thankful that we had turned up.
Put this over your head, OK?
I thought, yay! I'm getting rescued.
You been on a lifeboat before?
No.
No, first time?
Well, I have once.
Have you?
I capsized with my dad.
Oh, that's not so good, is it? You all right? I'll take you under your arms, all right? There we go.
Thank you.
If you just want to sit at the back, OK?
Hold on, we've got to go fast, and they were loving it.
It was really bumpy and really fast. I was like bouncing. It was really fast and the wind was really strong in my face.
Just want to come over.
Okay.
And put your arms around my and I'll just grab you under here, all right?
I gave one of the girls a fireman's lift and our friend was looking back, giggling away. He said, "Oh, my friend's upside down."
Upside down. He threw me over his shoulder to get back to the sand.
You happy?
With the two girls and their mum safe, Ross and Stuart have to speed back for the remaining casualties before the tides reach their peak.
Probably a minute or so and we were back out to get them back into the shore as well.
Put your foot there and I'll just grab onto it. You all right to manage? Good lass.
It was really cold, but we knew they were coming back for us, so it was good to know that we were just next ones to be saved.
Right, do you want to go fast? Your friend's got to go fast since you're in the lifeboat. Yeah? Right, holding on.
They were fabulous. They were very quick, very efficient, charming, funny, great with the kids. They were excellent.
We were chatting to the guy and then he told us if we'd waited it out we would have been there for like 9 o'clock at night and it was only like 1 o'clock or something.
Right, see you later, cheers, bye.
Every job you go for, you never know what it's going to be and every job's different. But you still get the great satisfaction of helping somebody out.
What's up with there?